And my other project is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So I have bought this from a ceramics shop in Paris, and this is travertine. It is a travertine, as you can see, tray. It's a nice large size. It's really heavy. I love the depth, and what I really love is all of these gorgeous natural stone look all the way around. So I would like to create a mold out of this, and I would like to be able to do resin and ceramic resin with it. So that's the idea. But first things first, I'm going to need to do a mold. So what I have decided to use is a piece of cardboard for the base. Then I'm going to place that on the top. Then I have some foam. So this is just a big piece of foam board that I buy, and I have cut them up into strips. I've got 4 for each side and a little leftover in case. And I have got my glue gun. And to help me, I'm going to just center the tray in the middle of here and trace around it so that when I remove it, I know where to place it back. And then this outline here is where I am going to put this, so that I have about equal amount of space all the way around. So waiting for my glue gun to heat up, and then I can just simply glue there and then place it down there, following all the way around. This is starting to get warm, so I'm going to do down here, and then down there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue from behind as well. So I'm going to follow the line all the way along, and I've got this one here that I can put. Ugh, I hate it when that string gets everywhere, and that glue string. So this is a bit of a fiddly job. I'm going to come back once I've done it all, so that you literally do not have to watch glue dry. Okay, I have finally got this all glued all around the sides. Just going to cut the excess off here. And there, that's all I need to do. It's nice and sturdy. I have glued all the way around up the sides, there and there and there and there. And honestly, if the silicone comes out, well, I didn't glue enough, clearly. And to finish this off, I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape in the middle and stick this down. And then pull this off and place this right in the center where I marked my lines. Make sure it's completely level and centered and that the space around is equal, and then I'm ready to mix up some silicone. Good morning again. Oh, it's awful, it's raining. You're not going to be able to hear any birds today. Okay. But we're not going to let that stop us. I have got this to finish today, and I let this dry overnight, and I kind of want this done before the weekend. It's Friday now, So I want this done before the weekend in case I don't have any time to do it today, because it does take about 5 hours or so depending on the weather, and because it's so damp it probably will take longer. So I'm going to be using Let's Resin's silicone rubber. It's a 1:1 ratio, so it's 2 parts, and I've been trying to rack my brains on how to measure the volume for this. So I think I'm gonna do an experiment with you. So I'm going to do the usual measuring the width, the height and the depth, and then I'm going to measure the width and the height and the depth of the actual travertine tray, and then I'm going to subtract them. So I worked out that that is about 400 grams of rubber. So we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it does work, my formula, well, I'll put it down in the description for you. So this is a mixed ratio of 1:1 by weight. So you'll need a scale for this, an electric scale. And I'll need a cup. I've got one of these Let's Resin cups. They're pretty useful. It comes with one of their kits that I've shown in one of my other videos. So I'm going to zero this down, and I am going to add first part A. Yep, I can hear you say it. Gloves. Edna, gloves. I'm putting them on. You're absolutely right. And the second one. Okay. Let's do this properly, eh? Now, for obvious reasons, I have not got my window open today, but well, too bad. So I'm going to put 200 of each in there. And I'm not sure this calculation is going to be right just by the amount that I've got there. Let's see how much. So that's 205. But this is an experiment, so let's just go for it, see if it works. So I've got 205 in there. I'm going to zero it out, and then I'm going to add 205 since I've got 205 in there. Just a little bit more fell in. So of part B. So let's go 205. When I get to 190, I'm going to go a little slower. Okay, so 170. 200, and then let's do it exact. So I can get it to 5, that would be good. There, I've got it 4. I'm going to stop there. Okay, so now we mix, and it's the usual. You can mix for about 3 minutes. So I'll get my timer out and I'll mix. And again, I kind of like to mix this exactly the same way as I mix resin. So you're making sure that both parts are mixed together, scrape the sides down and the bottom, and give it a good mix. So actually I wasn't that far out. You can tell it's covered the entire top of it, but I do want a nice thick base. I want some density there, so I've made another 120 milliliters. I've basically used up the entire 2 tubes of this, and let's see how that goes. And if you can hear any playing in the background, someone's practicing the guitar here in the house. Can't help it. I film when I can film. You know, they're practicing, put it that way. And that extra 120 milliliters should do it. So I'm now just going to let this cure, and it does say to wait 24 hours before using the mold. So I will probably be back this weekend at some point and we can test this mold out. Good morning. Oh, I am excited to unmold this. So, where do we start? It's properly cured, I can tell that. I think I'm just going to just spread it apart like that and break off the hot glue. I'll do the same for the other side. Comes off really easily. This is just foam board and a piece of cardboard. And that's stuck a little bit to the hot glue, but that's fine. And then once all that's off, I can then bend it back and peel anything that's on the edges, and then start peeling backwards. So that's a bit of sellotape there. Let's get rid of that. Let's start on this edge and come around the other way. Makes a nice scrunching sound as you take it off. Come around that way now, and it's coming off pretty well. Maybe if I pull this off first. There. And unfortunately this you'll have to throw away. Into the bin it goes. So I've got one of these cuticle, you know, it's for the cuticles, get rid of them, manicure thingies. This does a really good job. You can just go around the edge like that and it will slice it off. All the way along. All the way around. And then that's nice and free and that will come off easily. And then all of this, well, I'll just throw that away. And now we can peel back. So I'm going to go slow and peel it back, because there are lots of little natural stone ridges and little holes, and I want them to be there. So I'm going to go slow so that none of them tear off. Yay, got it out. Look at that. That's got a nice thick base to it and lots of fun little ridges. All these I'm going to leave. And if there's any cleanup here, like here, just get your little nail, your cuticle thingy-majiggy, don't know what you call that, and then just clean up the edges. Again, you could also just use a Stanley knife or a X-Acto knife. And there, I can't wait to try this out. Good morning. So this has now had a full 24 hours to cure, and I am ready to pour. And I want to do two pours. I want to do a resin pour and a ceramic resin pour. So I'm going to be using the Magic Pure from Let's Resin, and I'll leave all the links with a discount code down in the description for you. So this is a big tub that I've got here, and I always think it's worth getting a big tub. It's more economical. So you're going to need a scale for this, because this is measured by weight and not volume. I've got an electric scale here, and I've done my usual measurements. It's the width times the length times the depth, and that will give you, if you like, you can add maybe 10% more to that sum, because that's really for resin. Well, I mean, that's what I've used to use it for resin. I'm going to try to see if it works with the Magic Cure. So on with the powder first on with the water first in here. And this is a 3:1 resin ratio. So on with the measuring of the water. So I've already done the calculations beforehand after I measured the volume of this mold. So that's the water. Here goes the powder. Maybe I should have used a bigger cup. Let me pile it on. Okay, and I'm going to need 50 more after that. So let me get that in. That wasn't clever of me. Don't do what I do. And then I'm going to mix it in to the water. So little by little, using a whisk. That always helps. And that way you'll avoid any lumps. The weather's got really lovely lately. Because I was worried about the Olympics, anyone coming to France for the Olympics. I was thinking, gosh, they're going to have the crap weather that we've had. It's been non-stop raining. It seems to be picking up, so I'm hopeful. So we're going to mix this up. I am going to tint this a little bit. I'm going to put some mica powder in. I'm not quite sure what kind of mica powder I'm going to put in. So I'm going to leave that there. I need to mix up 50 grams more because my cup wasn't big enough. So let's go for it. It's not much more. There. Put that away. And before I mix that up, I want to just try a little gold leaf. So I'm going to take one of my little metallic leaves that resembles real gold, and I'm just going to place it here and there. And that's a good thing about silicone. It sticks to the metal leaf really well. So I'll get a little bit everywhere, some down the sides as well. Not going to go crazy. Just want to see what this does. I've tried it before, and most of the time only a little bit sticks to the ceramic resin, but it leaves like a really nice sparkle, so that's why I like to do it. Okay, let's finish mixing this in. And when you get to the end, you really want to mix properly. Now, it is a hot day outside, so this is going to cure pretty quickly. It's half an hour cure, but just in case, I'm not going to hang around too long, so I don't want it to start curing in here. So let's make sure that everything at the bottom is cured. Got my spatula. It's a bit like cake icing if you make cakes. And there, that's the consistency. And then I am going to separate the two. I'm going to put a little in here. And I'm going to add some silver to it. Oops, that doesn't open. Let's try this one. This is like a nice iridescent silver. So I'm going to add that to that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of pink to the other one. I'm going girly here today, and you could use pigment paste or cement powder, so special tints for cement that you can get in your hardware store. You can use mica powder, you can use tempera paint, acrylic paint, anything like that. And I am also going to just sprinkle on a little bit here and there. That will give it some sheen. So that's a nice shiny silvery mica powder. And this hasn't done very much in there, so what I'm going to do there is add a little bit more there, and I'm going to create a marble effect. So there's that one and that one, and then pour the two together. Swirl it around a bit, and then pour, and let's go. So I'm going to go into the sides first, and then tap the mold down, and then I'll add the rest. So although this has natural travertine, sort of a natural stone effect with lovely little holes, and it's a very pretty stone travertine. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to just get in there first, make sure it's completely in, tap, and then I'm going to pull the rest, hoping that my calculations are right. Oh yes, that's perfect. They are right. And then just using the spatula, pour in the rest. And then I'm going to leave this to set for 30 minutes. And if you were doing a more complicated mold, you could use a little vibrating machine to get rid of the bubbles and make sure that they settle everywhere. But I'm just going to leave it like that. And what I am going to do is rinse this out under the sink straight away. I'm not going to leave it to set. Whilst it's wet, it's the easiest time to clean. So we'll be back in half an hour. Okay, it's time to unmold. This has had 30 minutes, and I am just going to stuck on the table. Why is that? Oh, okay. Okay, let's turn it upside down and then unmold gently like this. Wow. So here it is in close up. I love the little marble effect. And all these little ridges, that's the stone look from the travertine. It's gorgeous, it really is gorgeous. I absolutely love making molds. I think it's such fun. You know, you can often not find a certain mold that you like, and we keep using all the same type of molds, and it gets a little boring after a while. So I do love to make my own molds. What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. Love to know. And as you can see, the back's lovely too. So as I said, it just picked up a little bit of the gold leaf. It really is elegant and pretty. not too much, and then I put that silver mica powder at the base, and you can see it's left a lovely effect. Now what I will do is leave this to properly cure, just to dry out basically for maybe 24 hours, and then I'm going to put a sealant on it. But now what I'd like to do is use the same mold and see what effect it will do in resin. And the difference between the two is just durability. Resin, as you know, is very hard, and you can basically rinse it. So it might be very good for, say, a bathroom, if you wanted to put your little toothbrush holder, like a matching one. You could do a set of those. For the kitchen, for your washing up liquid dispenser, soap, sponge, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do a different version, different colour in resin. So I'm going to go and mix them up and I'll be back. So I have 3 different colours here. I have got a kind of a grey, I've got a beige, and then I've just mixed the two together. So I'm going to try and do a little marble effect, and you could use one of those, you know, separated cups, such as these, but I'm just going to do a straight dirty pour. I think that will be the best thing. So I'm going to pour them in here, little by little, and then I'll add the rest after. So just one quick swirl, maybe 2, and then we can get pouring. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I am going to do the sides first, make sure that everything's down inside there. So just give it a little squeeze on the sides, get rid of any air pockets, just like that. Okay. Now I do have to talk about when you mould and what substance you use afterwards. So for example, if you're using ceramic resin or an epoxy resin, you have to know that whatever you mould will come out in that texture. So for example, the travertine tray that I moulded is matte, and it's a stone effect, so it's matte. So my mould will come out matte. So whatever I put, even if I put shiny resin, it will come out matte. So if you're expecting this to come out shiny, it won't. That's not how it works. Moulding will literally mould whatever you're using and replicate it. So if it's matte, your resin casting will be matte. If it's shiny, your resin casting will be shiny. So doesn't look like the prettiest of colours, but it is like a little beige, like a taupe basically, almost a taupe. So I've got some left over there, so I'm going to use that for something else, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. So just smooth it out a bit, maybe create the swirls that you'd like so that the marble effect comes out how you'd like it to. And you saw that I left the leftover gold leaf on the base of it. I thought that would be nice. So the other mold I found is one of these little cup molds. So I'm going to use that, and it will be a little matching set. So let me squeeze the bottom. Make sure everything's fallen right down to the end, and then pour in my colours. And that's used up almost everything that I had, so that's good. There. Yep, that's basically it. That's all I've got left. So I'm going to let this cure properly overnight, and we'll be back to unmold in the morning. Right, this has now cured. It's rock hard, and I am going to unmold and see what I've got. Ooh, well, it's really nice. Get rid of that bit of excess. So you can see that even with resin, you get a really good molding of the original travertine. It's really nice, and I like the way the little gold there is. So I've actually unmolded in advance this. So this is a little cup, could be a little plant holder, and then I had a tiny bit of leftover resin, so I did this little candle holder. So you can see that this would be perfect in a bathroom or a kitchen. And then I also did this one just as another test. I did some grey, some white. I didn't put any gold in there, but that looks really nice. There's the pink one. So this one really has picked up all of the little moldings from the original. So there, I really do like molding. Making your own molds is really personal, it's really creative, and you can come up with lots of really fun things to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I'm going to probably be making some more in both resin and in ceramic resin, so look out for that. Maybe I'll put some shorts up here on YouTube or even over on my Instagram page. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye.